Everyone has a personal bias whether they want to admit it or not. Especially in these journalistic circles, our lives, what we experience, the echo chambers that many people live in, that impacts our work. And especially within this video game industry the last couple of years, that has become a lot more noticeable with some very questionable critiques of various games. You look to Kingdom Come Deliverance, the creator's controversial views that certainly impacted the reviews of the game, not necessarily the sales. Ubisoft's Far Cry 5 is a great example, as a lot of outlets such as Polygon and The Verge were very disappointed and outraged over the fact that the game wasn't enough about Trump and conservatives. It really wanted there to be a message because of the Montana setting. Then there was The Division 2, in which Variety wrote up just an eye-opening piece in which they critiqued the game for not being enough about guns, and Tucker Carlson, yes, that's a real thing that happened. GameSpot had a critique of the white male protagonist of Days Gone, and more recently Final Fantasy XVI, which is also an upcoming game, found its way into controversy over one of the producers of the game defending the lack of diversity with its medieval-inspired setting. And in turn, Kotaku attacked Japanese culture and even argued that inclusivity should outweigh gameplay and graphics of a game. So the point that I am trying to hit on is that there is a historical precedent, at least in recent memory within this video game industry, in which certain games have received negative critiques, criticism, just because of the fact that they didn't hit on certain points, certain biases that various outlets now have. That has not always been the case, but it's something that again has become more noticeable in recent memory. This brings us to Hogwarts Legacy. We've been talking about this for the last number of months. The outrage surrounding this game is enormous, something that's unprecedented in my personal opinion, and that is largely because of J.K. Rowling's controversial anti-trans views. And because of that, Hogwarts Legacy has been living under a microscope. Some of the other controversy that has come about involved a senior designer who posted lukewarm political views being attacked and forced to resign because many, including various game outlets, were falsely claiming this designer was a leading voice in the game's development and was alt-right. That was false and defamatory. Goblins were shown to be one of the enemy factions in the game, and again, the devs were attacked as the Twitter mobs and gaming outlets said this was a clear example of anti-Semitism. The reason? Because the goblins are supposed Jewish caricatures in the Harry Potter universe, and this game has made them all evil and has us stopping the rebellion for freedom. Assumptions, that's what that is. But this has not stopped many people from making bold conclusions about a game that they had not played yet. This all contributes to a massive boycott campaign that has been going strong, with various posts having hundreds of thousands of likes explaining why this game is dangerous and why you should feel bad for buying or supporting it. And yes, many gaming journalists have shared that sentiment online. Various gaming outlets have been adding disclaimers and even warnings about supporting this game. One video game company fired an employee just for saying they were excited for the game. IGN's Hogwarts Legacy reviewer said he was only reviewing the game because everyone else at the company was scared to do so.
The fact that I'm getting Hogwarts Legacy is insane to me, and it's only happening because everybody else is too afraid to review it. That's literally it.
It's fantastic.
So, yeah.
Love it.
So ultimately, Hogwarts Legacy was never going to get a fair shot from games media, even though the developers have gone out of their way to show their support to the trans community. They have a character creator that is gender inclusive. They've come out with multiple statements saying that they don't share the views of Rowling, who creatively is not involved in this game's development at all. Warner Brothers, the publisher behind this game, even said that they reached out to trans organizations for their input on Hogwarts Legacy. But again, that just isn't enough for many of these outlets, and the core issue is the fact that Rowling is financially going to be benefiting from Hogwarts Legacy, which is indeed the argument that the chronically online Twitter mobs have been using to tear down Hogwarts Legacy since day one. A reaction mostly exclusive to this game, and not bizarrely the many instances of video game executives in recent memory such as Bobby Kotick being accused of serious misconduct and abuse. And more recently, even getting some of the actors that are involved in this game to apologize for appearing in it. So Hogwarts Legacy being given a fair shot, being reviewed based on the actual game and not all of the outside noise, that was just never a truly feasible outcome in my opinion. But, and this has to be said, Warner Brothers was prepared for this. They knew that this game was one of the most controversial releases in years, and there had to be something done here, whether you would agree with it or not. It's very interesting. We are at launch right now, and the game is actually getting some glowing reviews, but it's noticeable the outlets that have not done reviews, and it's unclear, at least at this moment, why that is. And based on some YouTubers going public on Twitter, it seems like Warner Brothers was very careful with who was actually gaining access to Hogwarts Legacy prior to launch. But the outlets that so far have not actually reviewed this game are interestingly the ones that have been writing up many of these, let's just call it hit pieces about Hogwarts Legacy, covering all the controversy, talking about how Rowling is dangerous and such. That includes GameSpot, Kotaku, Polygon, The Gamer, VG247, Game Informer. They have not had pieces. Obviously, IGN did cover some of it, and they do have their review, but they are also the biggest video game site in the world. And there are also, of course, YouTubers such as SkillUp and Mr. Matty Plays that did not gain access prior to launch either. Now, obviously, there's zero way of knowing Warner Brothers' strategy with who got reviews and who didn't, but I just find it very notable, these outlets that did not get access. Or maybe they are boycotting and deciding not to review. Maybe that's for the best, honestly, but as of recording this video, it does look like my suspicions have been confirmed based on some of the reactions for the outlets that did not have reviews up for Hogwarts Legacy yet. We had a freelance writer that has written for Verge and Polygon saying every single Hogwarts Legacy review I've seen is like, of course we need to discuss this game in its wider context, and then fully does not do that because people aren't interested in hearing about Rowling. They want to hear about the actual game. We had a bunch of Kotaku writers saying, I'm excited to also find out the reviews/editors at which publishers were willing to take the Faustian bargain instead of doing right by their readers. Honestly, it's refreshing to see publishers so brazenly play favorites as they try to engineer positive coverage. Both of these are Kotaku writers. I just find this drama so funny. The Games Hub, an actual outlet a number of hours ago, said that they would be boycotting a review for Hogwarts Legacy, saying it does not deserve to be reviewed on its own merits. Whether or not we want to admit it, it is impossible to talk positively about this game without harming a community of human beings. The article goes on to add that if you purchase the game, if you praise its qualities and encourage others to support the devs or treat yourself to a guilty pleasure, you are making a choice that will harm a community, whether you want to admit it or not. And then we had a VG247 and GameSpot writers saying every single critic that couldn't even write a paragraph on dealing with Rowling's disgusting views on the trans community have failed at what they're supposed to do on an intrinsic level and should quit writing. I'm not being hyperbolic. We had the deputy news lead for the Gamer website saying putting a statement in your Hogwarts Legacy coverage about how JK can be a bit mean because you're a diehard activist, that would have thrown the first brick at that Stonewall. Jesus. Patrick Klebeck, a former writer, I believe, of Polygon, and he now works for Waypoint, saying watching gaming outlets jump through rhetorical hoops to justify coverage on Hogwarts Legacy isn't surprising, but it'd be more honest if they played it straight and just said our shaky business model does not allow us to ignore any game that might sell 10 million copies. And then we had the editor-in-chief of The Gamer saying, I was going to avoid the review drama, but for IGN's review to state, as critics, our job is to answer the question of whether or not we find this game to be fun to play, and why is a dismal misunderstanding of what a critic is. Whatever score was given, whatever people think of the game and choose to review it is one part of it. So much broader is the biggest and most influential gaming outlet in the world not only believing fun factor is our job as critics, but pushing that view onto their readers. And then they continue saying the fact that they scored the game well does not matter to me at all here. It's bigger than this game. It's extremely worrying that the biggest outlet in the world thinks our job is game fun, Y/N, and just a week after explaining why big games all deserve at least a 7 out of 10. So yeah, there is certainly a lot of outlets that have so far not delivered Hogwarts Legacy reviews, very upset, and I guarantee you those inevitable Kotaku and Polygon reviews of Hogwarts Legacy are going to be very unkind and very much talking about all of the outside noise that has filled up social media the last couple of months and years. Regardless, right now at launch, Hogwarts Legacy looks like it is a Game of the Year contender, and I'm honestly pleasantly surprised by all of this, with all the controversy, everything I mentioned earlier on in this video. We are at launch, and this game looks amazing, and I've played a little bit of it and I'm enjoying it. It is a truly magical experience. It is a game that I dreamed of when I was a child, when I grew up with those Harry Potter movies. But on OpenCritic, based off of, let's see, 52 reviews, the top critic average is 86 out of 100. 92% of critics recommend this experience right now. On Metacritic, the PlayStation 5 review page for Hogwarts Legacy has an 86 out of 100 based off of 42 critic reviews. On the Xbox Series X page for Hogwarts, it has 13 critic reviews and an 89 out of 100, and the PC page has 8 critic reviews and an 83 out of 100. Phenomenal scores, and truly this game appears to be in the conversation for one of the best games of the year. Obviously myself, I have not experienced enough of it, but so far, so good. Now, in regards to these overwhelmingly positive critic review scores, there is a narrative that is developing online in which a lot of people are arguing this kills the narrative that games journalists are woke and they were truly against Hogwarts Legacy. I don't think that's at all the case that's happening here. I think that this is just an example of Warner Brothers going about this in a smart manner, and the outlets that were truly upset, the journalists that were truly upset, they didn't review this game, or at least they have not yet. But two things are clear after the release of Hogwarts Legacy's reviews, and that is, this game is going to sell a shit ton of copies, and additionally, the boycott campaign that surrounded this game for the last couple of years has failed. These are things that I don't think is surprising to anyone, as it's the logical conclusion that most of us expected this to be. Next though, I do want to proceed forward with some of the actual contents of these reviews and go over what reviewers are saying about Hogwarts Legacy, as well as sprinkle in some of my impressions from the brief time I have had with this game. With Carol Quintain saying Hogwarts Legacy is a video game monument in line with Zelda Breath of the Wild and Elden Ring. They gave it a 10 out of 10. It offers great adventure where freedom, possibilities, and a sense of travel are at the rendezvous. The game universe of Avalanche is concocted with immense care, rich full of mysteries, where we will meet well-written characters at the heart of a thrilling story, an unforgettable epic. PlayStation Universe giving it a 95 out of 100. Hogwarts Legacy is a compelling fantasy RPG packed with stunning scenery, memorable characters, and fantastic combat. IGN Italia giving it a 92 out of 100, a beautiful transposition of the wizarding world. Hogwarts Legacy is both a tribute to the Harry Potter universe and a litmus test largely passed by Avalanche Studios with their first big and delicate project. Gry Online giving it a 90 out of 100. Hogwarts Legacy's wonderful world makes it one of those games that you just love to keep experiencing for the first time forever. We envy anyone who has yet to step into it. Even if it's just a regular open world game, underneath all the magic, it truly is an excellent one. And as soon as you just start to walk around and immerse yourself within Hogwarts, that castle, there's just so much attention to detail. And the combat, even though I've seen clips online with people trying to make fun of it, it's truly a lot of fun to just get used to those mechanics and engage with fighting off goblins and dark wizards and such. This is stuff that I really enjoy, and there are choices all around so far in those early hours, as well as exploration and just that sense of discovery that I love with these type of open world experiences, especially a universe that I'm familiar with and you are as well. Well, at least I assume you are. But continuing forward, the main website of IGN gave the game a 9 out of 10. The one reviewer that actually wanted to review Hogwarts Legacy, he said, in nearly every way, Hogwarts Legacy is the Harry Potter RPG I've always wanted to play. It's an open world action adventure that captures all the excitement and wonder of the wizarding world with its memorable new characters, challenging and nuanced combat, and a wonderfully executed Hogwarts student fantasy that kept me glued to my controller for dozens of hours. It's certainly weighed down by technical issues, a lackluster main story, and some poor enemy variety, but even those couldn't come close to breaking its enchanting spell over me. God is a Geek gave it a 9 out of 10 as well, saying Hogwarts Legacy is filled with so many mechanics that nothing feels arbitrary, with so much joy to be found within its story and spell books. Now, when it comes to negative reviews of Hogwarts Legacy at the moment, we really don't have that many. There are some mixed in the 60s and 70s, in which it seems like the reviewers felt a little disappointed by some of the content, especially the main story, as some called it silly, and then there was some issues with some of the optimization. That was something that was brought up in IGN's 9 out of 10 review. And then there was some other outlets that also did make mention of Rowling, the fact that she is the Harry Potter author. Seems like a lot of these reviews, even the positive ones, all have disclaimers. I talked about that earlier on in this video. Again, I don't really see why that's being reserved for this and not other games, especially Activision Blizzard, but again, that's a conversation we can continue another day. Now, we did see one major French outlet, Game Cult, saying that they will not be reviewing Hogwarts Legacy, and they explained, again, because they didn't want to show any support to J.K. Rowling, saying in a tweet, "We refuse to give an echo to a brand whose economic and media weight benefits a woman erected as the figurehead of movement of hatred, a woman whose activism aims to roll back the rights of trans people who are already constantly dehumanized." That is the first major outlet that has come out saying that they are boycotting Hogwarts Legacy completely and not reviewing it. And again, the other major outlets, the Game Informers, the GameSpots, there's just been no statement or anything said thus far. Now, as I record this video, reviews have only been up for a couple of hours and reactions are now just coming in, and certainly there are a lot of people that are very upset that these reviews are as positive as they are. Stephanie Sterling, a YouTuber reviewer, said, "An old acquaintance Games did some work on that Hogwarts game, didn't have much juicy to say other than the game is mediocre. I'm told they added a token trans NPC to pivot the conversation away from JK, they're barely in it. They continue saying later, naturally I'm not covering a game that benefits a fascist who has made her entire life about causing harm to people. The game's going to be a big success because it's Harry Potter and because gamers, TM, are spite buying it, whatever. As a trans person, seeing all the advertisement publicity for work that not only finances JK, but allows her to feel justified, makes me feel quite sick. For some people, that's actually the real fun of this game, and I don't think that's the majority of people that are going to be buying this. I think a lot of people don't know about the online noise, and I do think that a lot of people are just trying to relive those childhood, those moments, the things that we wanted to experience. This is a dream game for so many, and I understand that there's an argument that some are spreading online that this game is dangerous, but there is also a studio that has done their best to make a game that is for everybody. And while J.K. Rowling does financially benefit from this game, there was probably already a licensing agreement, so she probably was already going to be making a ton of money off of this. And yes, the developers, they have not just been paid. There are bonuses that are linked to this. The studio's future relies on the success of Hogwarts Legacy, and now it definitely seems like it is destined that way. Maybe we'll have more Hogwarts games in the future. Anyway, what do you make of all of the controversy that has surrounded Hogwarts Legacy the last couple of years, and are you considering buying this game, playing it day one or later on? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or if you found any informative value, and make sure to follow my other social media accounts for updates on new videos. Links are always down in the description below. I'm most active on Twitter, giving opinions on news that I do not always get into video form, so do make sure to follow me over there. Also check out my Discord for all sorts of discussion on games. And again, thank you for joining. Consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.